Hello. Hello. Hi. Is there anyone out there? Hello. Hello. Hmm. If you can see this, just put a hashtag LIVE below. And let me just check that we are live. Yeah, alive. Okay. Okay. And you can just let me know below, where are you dialing in from? Hello. Okay, lovely. Well, I've got a very special guest with me today, and you can probably feel it from her presence, which is just popping off the screen. And whilst her name may be Rasikaapriti, there is so much more to her than her name. And the reason we're meeting today is because she's reached a milestone in her life where she can officially work with people in the area known as inner child work in the matrix, especially in the inner matrix, in the inside awareness, and is officially today getting certified as an inner child matrix practitioner. And I think it's so fitting that we are here today because, Rasika, you have a sweetness, you have a softness, you have an openness, you have an awareness, you have a willingness to learn and grow and reflect and also transform in the way that transformation is needed. And I feel what shines through about you more than anything else is your humility to learn and to grow. So it's my honor and my great privilege to award you today ICM Practitioner. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I know it's been a long time coming here, Rasika, like reaching this place today, 23rd of September, 2025. And here you are today. How are you feeling?
I'm just overwhelmed. It just feels like a full circle. This is where I began with EFT and ICM. And it's like that fruit of patience, I think, which is even more sweeter now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fruit of patience. And patience is, oh, such a triggering yet relieving place to be, huh?
Yeah.
And maybe, part of these certifications or all the certifications you've ever done in your life, even stuff maybe you've learned with other people and things like that, maybe part of all of that, more so than the destination of the certificate, maybe it's about the journey that the person themselves goes through. And yours has been a journey of patience. That's beautiful. So, if you had to share with all of us what ICM is about, what would you share with us?
I don't know how to define this, but when I worked on myself using ICM, I could connect with that little one, the little me. And there's so much love I could feel for her, which I think I never saw at myself like that. I never saw myself like I deserve love or I'm worthy of love or anything like that. But when I went through these processes, today I can see that little one and I just want to hold her and be with her all the time and just make it all right for her So I think ICM is a journey of not fixing what was broken. I think it's more about just acknowledging that, and like you say, that rewriting the meaning we gave to it, and it's finally home. It's finally being home to yourself.
Beautifully described. Rewriting the meaning that you've given to it and finally coming home. I can really relate to that, because inner child work is so much about, just because you didn't have a happy childhood or a happy teen year or a happy adulthood, it doesn't mean you can not begin from this moment, because at any time we want, we can connect with our inner children and give them the happy childhood that they always wanted. And to close that procedural memory, that memory that was in place and seeking something or wanting something or waiting for some loop to complete. So you shared it really beautifully. Now, the last time we met, you were officially certified for EFTs. You've got, we call a hat trick, more than one all at once, which I love. And I think that's great. What was your journey like after becoming certified and people started to find out that you're certified? What happened? Did people approach you, not approach you? Tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah. So I don't know, it worked like magic for some reason. Like when I was not certified as EFT practitioner, I was more in a place where I was attracting clients in terms of coaching for business. And so I don't know if somehow universe comes to know or what. The moment you get certified as EFT, more clients started coming in for EFT, where I could, I don't have to use BCNLP so much. Like I can fully give them EFT. And now I have already started getting inquiries for work which involves ICM.
Oh,
So I feel it flows like magic. And I also believe that when you are ready to serve, I think they come then. Because
that's true.
it's more like holding a safe space for everyone. And the universe is doing that. And that's in itself so reassuring that you are
Yeah,
taken care of no matter what.
beautifully put, beautifully put. And I guess EFT was your first love. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
ICM is one of the reasons I could not get certified earlier, because after learning ICM, all the EFT sessions would just flow into ICM. And because it's so much easier to handle so much with so ease and safety with ICM. So I think that's major reason I would slip into ICM every time I was starting something with EFT, and then big memory coming up. Okay, let's do ICM. Let's go there. So
That's true. Yeah.
I think I had a more extramarital affair with ICM all along.
Because, I mean, I always say this to people, health warning, if you're going to learn ICM and you're still completing your EFT case studies, just warning, like you may not be able to finish your EFT case studies. I always tell them, look, now you've got like 3 months, just get your EFT done before you come on ICM, because it's
Absolutely.
impossible to go back to classical EFT only. I mean, you can still do
Yes.
some when you, because you work through the memory so much quicker. You can work through a series of memories quicker. You can break the pattern, and you don't need even elegant questioning. That's the other thing I love about ICM is, like, you don't need like deep questioning, finding the root cause, what's the belief, what's going on. Like, you just need to sit in your own meditative space, surrender completely, let it happen. And the work does its own kind of work. It finds the root cause, it finds a limiting belief, because we're using the inner child as an anchor to take us from place to place in the inner psyche as to what is stored, where is it stored, how is it stored. And like processes like forgiveness or resetting the body's energy system, it just unfolds on its own. So I really hear you that,
Mm.
it's challenging
And
to go.
another thing I witnessed is people who don't have the leverage to work, they leverage to work when they see a younger self. This
Yeah.
is one observation. Like they really want to work on them because they're looking at themselves with so much compassion now
Yeah.
versus judgment or self-doubt. So that's beautiful.
That's lovely. And there's always this lovely metaphor
Mm.
that, if a child, if a baby, vomits, you don't tell the baby off, do you?
Mm.
Oh, it's okay. Let me clean it out. I still love you. It's fine. If the baby, you know, suddenly goofs up, like there's so much more forgiveness there, for the little baby and when they're small and it's okay. But as they grow up, it's like, oh, why did you do that? Oh, and then that becomes internalized and then, you know, directed at ourselves as well. So I love the metaphor. Is that your little child as well? I love the
Yeah.
metaphor. His voice is great. That's the metaphor that we can use. So you shared a little bit about what you got from ICM personally. Is there anything you want to add to that or add to what people you've worked with? What have they got from it? I know you've done some really deep work and you've worked with some very delicate and sensitive situations and areas. Of course, I don't want to break any confidentiality. So if
Yeah.
there's a way to share it more as a sort of high level, theme level.
Yeah, so I do have permission from this client of mine to share her story, and because she's all for if it helps somebody. So when I was having a session with her of ICM, she said she's tried this before, but she was not able to explore her memories. But this time she felt she was more ready. She felt safe to go in there. And it was so interesting because it was like a matrix of her present self, herself at when she was married, herself when she was a child, herself when she was in college. And it's like a whole community of your inner world sitting together and working through it. And at the same time, she was like, I was just a witness holding space, and everything was done by her internally, and it all completed. And one of her younger self was not able to just find the will to move on. And it was amazing to see how all her inner children are supporting her. And there was wisdom coming from the present age, there was innocence and life coming. And so she's a devotee, and so she didn't have access to Krishna back then because she started very late in her journey of devotion. And she just gave Krishna to the younger self, and it all just solved, it all just worked out. And that was so beautiful. And she told me that in just that 1 hour, I think in that 1 hour session, 1 hour long session that we had, she has let go on of her need to control everything, and she's not that anxious anymore. So, and she just told me, like, you should do more of this because that was such a solace. Like, you can transform in just sometimes in 1 hour, in just that one moment. So that was amazing. And personally, I held this nerve pain for 2 months, when we had our session in the demonstration the other day. And it started in 2020 when I was injected with the anesthesia for my second delivery. That's when this nerve pain had started, and it's been there for 5 years now. Like somewhere, sometimes on and off, on and off. But that one session, that one exploration of abandonment, no pain. And I
Wow.
noticed even my heels were cracked on my left leg, which are now healed. Compare it, like I could see the difference between my right and my left leg. And there's so much flexibility. I can bend, I can move, I can walk. S- Just one session of exploration of the emotion. It was so powerful, so
It's beautiful.
powerful.
Wow, it's two really powerful experiences, huh? And what I love is that you're so open to it, which creates the openness for the people that you work with as well. So what is your prayer for yourself now that you've got this officially in your tool bag? What's your vision for yourself? Like, I know people are finding you with that effort right now. And if you had to,
Mhm.
if you had to sort of share what your vision is for yourself, what would that be?
I'm really open. I don't know, for the first time, I'm not thinking of anything at all. I'm just there's an acceptance of just being an instrument to whoever is coming and however life is happening. I mean, this I just want to flow through it and be there to whoever needs me in whatever way. And I would really wish that I could take this to more parents actually, because I think by helping parents reparent their inner child, their children are also getting benefited.
That's a really good point, because, so no parent ever wants to shout or fight or tell a child off. And yet one of the roles of parenting is to set boundaries as well. And children
Yeah.
do boundary setting. So it's not about not setting any boundaries, because that's not healthy parenting either. And you're a parenting coach and a teacher as well. So you know this subject better than me. You bring up something really important, because the parent can be in their trauma response, which might be they react,
Mm.
maybe they shout, they get angry, or perhaps they freeze or they shut down or they run away. And there can be so many triggers that their child can give to them. One is just as a little baby not eating, you know, can be so scary for that parent. It's like, are they not, are they breastfeeding? Are they eating? Are they taking food, taking nutrients? Are they breathing? Are they not breathing? Are they sleeping? Are they like, it can cause so much distress, because you have to really dig deep in trust and surrender, especially if you think about a parent that really wanted a child and God finally gave them the child they wanted. And then if they're in a place of holding on tightly to what, the joy and the abundance they've received, then it can cause so much constriction. And so the triggering can be sort of early, and then mom and dad not getting on, and then you've got your toddler growing up, and then school choice and which school do we send them to, and then the child grows up as well. And so the child is doing its own child things, whatever it is, video games, not listening, not doing homework, having friends, not having friends, wanting to interact, not wanting to interact, being bullied, hopefully not, but anyway, that happens, or being the bullier. And then you get to the discovery of the gender they like stage as well. And so then that brings with it all its sort of dynamic. And so I can imagine there are so many trigger points for a parent along the way. And if that parent, for example, has had a childhood themselves where they were not able to trust or surrender, then these early baby experiences are going to be really triggering and upsetting. Or if, as a young girl or boy, they didn't feel heard or seen or understood by their parents. So when the child is on the TV and not moving from the TV, it'll be so normal for their trauma response to come out. And if it's shouting, to shout, if it's shut down, to shut down, because it's like, you're not hearing me, you're not listening to me, you don't respect me. And if they can work through what happened back then, and then they can realize, you know what, I need to respect myself, I need to hear myself, I need to listen to myself. And so when that child is on that TV, which they shouldn't be at that time, and doing maybe their homework or something else, they're able to have that communication from a place of freedom versus from a place of trigger. So I think what you're sharing is so important. What's your perspective?
I believe that parents usually, even when we are scolding, we speak the language that we have heard.
Important. Yeah.
So when I want to discipline my child, it should be from only the space that I want to discipline him and not a reaction of my anger or my triggers. Then it's communicated that way to the child. It's not just me getting angry because I'm triggered by their behavior. It's just coming out of concern. While there's concern either ways, but the former is more of a response of a trigger, and that is perceived that way by the child. The child gets scared. But when it's just a disciplining, and you can, be so cool, your energy is loving, there's love, there's authority, there's a very assertiveness to your demeanor, and the child also learns that how you can discipline somebody without losing your temper, without losing control. And I
Yeah.
think that, I feel like even the parents, that's how they've learned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They're doing what they're familiar with. They're not bad parents. They
yeah,
do the best they can.
yeah. So I think working with them will really help everybody in the home, like building the whole family atmosphere so safe and happy. And then the future is getting benefited because the children are going with so much empathy and care and understanding.
Yeah, that's
So I
true.
think that's doing that work feels more on the level of, like, on a community level kind of service, where it's more like agape, where you're benefiting everybody, bigger
Yeah, that's a
picture.
beautiful metaphor. And if you had to, and do you do mainly like, do you also work with the kids and the teenagers and the young adults in addition to the parents?
Sometimes,
Mhm.
kids very less, more like teenagers and young adults.
And how do
It's
you kind of cope with the dynamic between the need of the parent and the need of the young adult or like teenager?
so if possible, if I can, if I have the rapport, I have a conversation with the parents. And usually, like, in that conversation, they're trusting. That's why they send their children, that I know they didn't mean that I have the child. So that's generally the case. But if I find there's something really out of place, I try to have a conversation with both. Like, and it doesn't really need me most of the time. When they are doing the work themselves, they usually, even the child has the realization why the parent is doing. Sometimes it just happens on its own. But if need be, I see what I can talk to them about it, or offer them, like, would you like to try a session? See what's happening for your child. It will give you a perspective about what the work is. So I offer it that way as well.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful way of doing it. And do you have any wisdom or advice or anything else that you want to share with all of us?
I don't know. I think life keeps happening. And just like you said, it's never too late to start loving yourself. And I was reading this just few days ago, that without self love, you cannot really love anybody.
Yeah.
So even if you are on a spiritual journey, because I find many spiritual practitioners find self love to be selfish. It's not so. It's self love can be at a very deeper level. Like, if you really love the soul, yourself wholly as a part and parcel of God, then you will be from that space able to understand others better. You will be so full, the expectations goes down, and you're able to love others with so much depth. And that's a more wholesome and fulfilling relationship.
I love that wisdom and how you shared it. It's really quite exquisite. Um, I have another dimension to it, but you feel free to discuss or disagree however, you feel. Because I also come across this sort of selfishness and, that, is it not, what is self-love? And one of the things I realized one day, but again, this comes from my belief system, so no one has to believe what I'm going to share or be in line with it. In my belief system, I believe that this is a vessel, the body, and this is like a temple. And inside this temple is housed the spirit or the soul for the time that this body is alive. And then there comes a
Yeah.
moment when this body is no longer alive and the spirit or the soul goes somewhere else. I don't know where, but it goes somewhere else. And maybe it joins with all the other spirits and souls and universe and divine and whatever it is. Okay. So one of the profound realizations I had one day, because I kept falling into the trap of not looking after my body. Now, it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
I don't fall into that trap from time to time. I do. And for me, the metaphor that really worked for me is this is my temple. And if I had a physical temple, say, in my home, then I would make sure that's kept really clean. And I would make
Yeah.
sure it's changed every day and there's fresh water and there's flowers and, you know, the gods and goddesses in my temple are anointed and beautiful dresses and outfits and taken care of. And because it's like this sacred special place where there's this connection with all that is. Now no one has to have a temple in their home. And I grew up with my parents, in focused on rituals, where I was probably more focused on not the ritual but the inner growth in terms of spirituality. And so I realized one day, I thought, oh, so one practical aspect of self-love, I'm not talking about the soul unconditional love aspect of self-love, is for me to take care of my temple. And just like the physical temple has a routine, 5 a.m. bathing ritual, or 6 a.m. light ritual, then feeding ritual. Like everything has a time. I mean, the temple also gets to rest as well. There is resting ritual as well, like all aspects, get taken care of when the divinity that is housed in the temple is being offered to all the time, because the self is being offered to the self. And so I realized to love this self, I have to love this self, which means practical action, and which also means sometimes being really selfish as well. Because there was a time when I wasn't selfish and I didn't take care of this, and I took care of other people. Also a very selfish act, by the way. I took care of other people because I was still sitting in my ego. That by taking care of other people, I will get something from the outside to make me feel love. And then I realized if I can just take care of myself and I can just feel and be this love and connect with my guidance and my intuition, then my guidance and intuition will guide me as to where my services are required or needed. And if my services are not required or needed, so be it. That this is also an act of self-love where there isn't a need to give out of a sense of ego or identity. Sorry, that was a lot of words.
No, that was perfect because it's amazing how we were discussing this same concept this morning, that if I'm not meant to do it, I'm not meant to do it. It should not come like, oh, I noticed this. And for a long time, I was having this in me as well, that, only if I serve, then I'm a good person. Like, I'm so great that I'm serving. But that was also shattered. And whether I'm serving, whether I'm taking care of myself, it's all service. It's
Yeah.
everything is service wherever
And
I'm
service
needed to
is
be.
service
And
too. Yeah.
yes, so that was a big realization. And that shifted so much, so much. And I've noticed when I started doing that, I'm able to have clients, where I can support them to be there. because I have this realization now that you're not doing anything wrong by taking care of yourself. In fact, I had this discussion with my son the other day, and he was studying Upadeshamrita, which has instructions like, how you should be. So one of them was like controlling of the senses. And he, in his mind, so there was one particular instruction of controlling the genitals, like, so he thought like not to go to toilet every time. I'm like, okay, because he's too young to understand what it actually meant and all that. So not going too much into philosophy, I just said, it's about taking care of yourself so well that you don't fall sick and you can be of service. So if you want to serve, you have to take care of your body, you have to take care of your emotions, you have to take care of your mind, and that's a service too. So then he thought like, okay, so he had like an epiphany. So
Yeah, that's right.
everything
So,
like being true to what is coming up rather than suppressing it artificially. So just
yeah.
being true to what's coming up. And
um,
that's a journey in itself.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I could also understand the concept of selfish. Like if I was always like, give me this, give me this, I want this, I
Yeah.
want this, give me this, give me this, I want this, I want this, I want this, then I'm also sitting in an egoic place, versus I love myself. What is meant to find me, and this is Rumi's poem on patience, will find me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our discussion. Thank you.
Me too.
I wish you a lot of success. And if any of you want to get in touch with Rasika, just type me below. And those of you who watch the replay, type #replay. So you heard what Rasika has to say. So she'd like to do more work with parents. So if you're a parent and you want to explore some of the surface triggers going on for you as a parent, and how can you sort of explore the underpinning root cause and have a sort of healthier surface reaction, or you're a young adult and you want to just be in a safe non-judgmental space and to be able to open up about what is going on for you and feel that you matter and that you can be seen and understood, then just type me below and Rasika will be in touch with you. Thank you so much for joining us
Yeah.
today.
Thank you, Dr. Ramna. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Okay, we say bye to those who came. Take care. Bye.